But I want to say this, that I've had the opportunity as a pastor to take in persons such as Deacon Williams. We named him Remnant Williams. He sat down in my study one day and he said to me, Pastor, can I talk to you? So, of course. He says, I want to tell you, and I think he was there 50 years of age. He says, I want to tell you that when I was 5 years old, my uncle, or I don't know if it was his uncle or maybe, and down south, everybody's your uncle that's older than you. That's a friend of the family. He took me and took out his sexual organ and made me kiss it, or whatever the word is, fellatio, I think is the appropriate term. At 5 years old. He said, I was forced by an much older man to do that. At 5 years old, he forced me to do it. He said, I knew nothing of it. And then I didn't tell anybody because I knew it wasn't right. And it just kept happening over and over as I got older. And he discovered that it had become a part of his psyche sexually. He wasn't born a homosexual, Deacon Williams. He wasn't born that way. He was raped by a family member who was also perhaps raped himself. It's a vicious cycle, I tell you. Very vicious cycle. And as he looked back on his life after hearing the truth, he began to hate the life that he was living. I think Deacon Remnant Williams, and I'm not going to have his voice here, but we have him on camera, who stated that he tried to warn young people, don't go down that road. He said, don't do it. Don't let anybody talk you into it. Don't do it. He hated the life that he had lived for so many years. And finally, this ministry was available to him. He came, he rested. He said, Pastor, please show me how to be a man, because somebody stole my manhood when he was 5 years old. That's going on right now as we speak. Somebody in some house, and not, by the way, just with men with boys. Did you know there are pedophiles as well, where men are taking advantage of girls as well at a very early age? We need to be mindful of that. And it warps their understanding of sexual interactions. Somebody needs to stand up and say something. Somebody needs to stand up and push back. If you put 500 women on an island, they all can be lesbians, one with the other, 500 men on another island, and no life will ever come off that island. No child will ever be born on that island. You can't tell me that God approves that. It is wretchedness beyond it is death, is what it is. It's death. It's death with an alibi. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. And so we were able to help Deacon Remnant Williams before he died of a horrific disease that ravaged his life, tore through his organs and tore through him and reminded him of the wretchedness. And every day he woke up for the few hours he could sleep, he was reminded of the life that he had lived and had now brought. He had never had an opportunity to live. 5 years old, he got raped by an uncle. And the rest of his life just was hell from there on out. Somebody needs to stand up. Some preacher ought to be strong enough to stand up and rebuke what we see going on in our society and our world today. The hell with Obama, the hell with LGBTQ, and the hell with anybody that has anything to support it. Somebody ought to stand up and defend Deacon Williams. And I'm that man. And I ain't going nowhere. But yeah, that's how that was. And that's what we're looking at today and what we want to push back on.